Good afternoon, my dear people of God. The teachings that we are going to look at today is from John chapter 8, from verses 51 to 59. Most times, when I meet some people online, they question whether Jesus is God or not. They ask, where did Jesus say that he is God? Because they have refused. Either they refuse to see clearly in the Bible, or they decide to behave like the Pharisees of old, who closed their eyes or who opposed Jesus when he claimed to be divine. Now, in this passage of John chapter 8, from verses 51 to 59, Jesus clearly makes the claim of his divinity. Now, it was at the point where he was saying that anyone who believes his word, that he will never see death. And the Jews asked him, how come? Even Abraham, our father, died, the prophets, they all died. How is it that you said anyone who believes in your word and keeps your word will never die? And Jesus says, even Abraham himself, he rejoiced during his day. He rejoiced to see his day. Jesus was making allusion to Genesis chapter 17, verse 17, when Abraham laughed when God told him that Sarah, his wife, will conceive and bear a son. And that time Sarah was already 90 years old, and Abraham laughed. So Jesus made sure to that fact that if Abraham was glad to see his day, and they say, what, you are not even as old as, you are not yet 50, and you have seen Abraham? And Jesus said, what, even before Abraham was, I am. Jesus used the divine name that God revealed to Moses in the desert in the book of Exodus chapter 3 verse 15. God revealed the divine name I am to Moses, and Jesus identified himself with the same divine name, claiming a divine status, that is divine identity. And the people he was speaking to, they understood him, and oh, you are claiming divinity, you are claiming to be God. And that is why they thought and they felt that he committed blasphemy, and they took up stones that will kill him, but he disappeared from their midst. You see, for when you are asking where Jesus says is God, that is where he is God, because the divine name I am, the God who is always present, that is the status of God. God is always present, and Jesus claims to always be, and that before Abraham was, he has always been, and he is always be. He is always be. That is God. So do not say again, where does Jesus say or calls himself God? That is where he is. He categorically states it there in John chapter 8 verse 58. Therefore, today, my dear people of God, for all of you that believe that Jesus is God, you see, he gives life. Jesus identifies himself with many titles in the gospel. If you care to understand it, he calls himself the bread of life. Jesus says he is the truth, he is the way, he is the life. He gives life to Lazarus and many other people. He gives life to them to show that in him is life and the life of the world. If you believe in him, you have life, and have it life to the full. He is the way that you follow. It's not that he is the way himself. He's not pointing you to another way. He is the way himself. When you follow him, you can never miss road. Therefore, today, Jesus also claims equality with God, because that is it. When he say I am, that is already using this divine name that